Liz is still hard at work. Say hello, Liz, wave or something. Okay, so she's in Southwick office working, so. So who wants to start out? Tell me what you've noticed a difference since you've been eating these foods and or what, any changes, good, bad. Who wants to go?
I will.
Okay, Maureen P. Oh, who said that?
Oh, Janice said I will, but
Oh. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I have been going through, it feels like a healing. My body has been healing because I went through a period of time where having problems with my gallbladder and had a lot of tests done and everything. And this has really been straightening me out. And I've lost about 6 pounds.
Yay.
And my energy has increased almost daily. And my memory, I've got to have my memory because, I take care of 2 loved ones and I have to remember all of their issues. And so it's just been great. And the food, I love the food.
The best part is loving the food. Nice. Thanks, Janice.
For those who don't know, Janice lives in Arkansas and Little Rock, right?
Yes, well, right south of Little Rock,
Okay.
Hot Springs.
Oh, yeah, Hot Springs, that's right. Hot Springs. Perfect town for you, young lady. Okay, who else? I saw a hand up. Maureen P., go ahead. You got on mute.
Sorry, I've noticed reducing cravings for foods that aren't on the list, Before I would maybe have more cravings for carbs. Not that I would eat them, but still this craving has reduced, and that's wonderful.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Who else?
You call Tia Barker. I heard.
Okay, Heather.
Right, thank you.
Okay, so we're enjoying it. Greg is loving the foods. We have, better energy. We're feeling good digestive wise, and my kids are getting their taste for healthy foods back.
Nice.
So that's been really enjoyable. Aubrey's cooking every morning, making for herself. She's chopping the onions and mushrooms and spinach and sauteing them, and she'll put her eggs in it, and she's loving it. So I'm really pleased about that.
Wonderful.
That's great.
Wonderful. And it's so important for kids to learn at a young age what is healthy and that they can eat it and all those things. That's fabulous. Okay. Who else would like to say something? Nobody?
Anna,
Anna?
go ahead.
I already had posted, but today I went back and I had a body wrap. So now it's 5.5 pounds of body fat I've lost. And that's pretty awesome for me. And thank you. And I do have more energy. And like someone just said, I'm not looking for those potato chips and French fries or and it was my birthday last Friday, but there was no birthday cake, but it was fine. I didn't mind it at all.
Mhm.
I have to say, this is pretty awesome.
Yes,
Good.
thank you.
And what else? You're eating mushrooms, right?
Yeah, and I'm eating mushrooms and I'm getting to like it.
Good for you.
Good.
Not the portobello though, sorry, just
No.
the little ones.
Okay.
Baby steps.
Maureen, Carey, how about you? I know you have a story.
Unmute, Maureen.
You have to unmute.
I
Cool.
have more energy and my stomach has calmed down. And like everyone else said, you're not looking for the other stuff to eat that I always used to eat. So,
Good.
and I
Yeah.
lost 5 pounds, almost 5 pounds of body fat.
And well, that was a week ago, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it could be more now.
Okay.
Okay, so keep it up.
Okay.
Anybody else? Liz, did you want to say something?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
So same thing as everybody else. The most surprising thing is dinner. I'll make my dinner and I end up eating such a small portion of it. All of my food has just been rolling over. And because everything goes so well together, I've not had any food waste. That was one kind of issues that I have is keeping a lot of fresh vegetables, but everything's been getting used up and I don't know. I just felt great.
Good. Good. Anybody else?
Tina,
Unfortunately, I'm still exhausted, but I have adrenal fatigue, so that's another whole issue. But my stomach, it's like I'm not as bloated as I used to, and I love cooking, and I'm enjoying all the different having the simple ingredients and trying to create something that tastes wonderful. So I've been enjoying it. It's like I'm almost afraid to add other foods in. It's like I can do this a little while longer. I'm good.
Good, good.
great, great.
So is there anybody else before I move on? Okay,
Yeah, I wanted to add into, so I've been experiencing like for lack of a better term, like mental clarity. I've always had like brain fog, and I feel like it's I'm thinking clearer. And I'm not sure if that has anything to do with, the food, but I seem to be more focused and able to complete tasks quicker. So yeah, mental clarity.
okay.
Good.
Now, for me, my clothes are a lot looser, I will tell you that. But I agree with whoever said I don't feel hungry late in the day. I'm eating foods that I hadn't eaten for a long time. I'd forgotten about them. I can't tell you the last time I had sauerkraut. Okay. Different things like that. So for me, I know I've lost weight. I've lost a little bit on my visceral fat has went down. My metabolic age went down. So everything is good. And, it's not like it's a chore to eat it. It's good food. That's what I've heard across the board. It's such good food. All right. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've taken away from it. How about you?
Yeah, definitely the food and wanting to prepare. Like I get up in the morning and I'm, sauteing onions and mushrooms and spinach is just like Aubrey's doing, and adding my egg there and the egg with the yogurt. I think that's the best thing, right? And we get a lot of head shakes, yes, with that. It's awesome. But I found an inflammation. So I have some arthritis in one of my fingers. It's usually the one that gets used a lot towards John when he's not looking. Just kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Just kidding. But that is the finger. And yeah, it's not bothering me. Even in the cold weather, which usually makes it hurt a lot. Not having any issues with that at all. My rings, on my other hand, are looser than they used to be. So yeah, I think inflammation, my stomach feels a little bit flatter. Yeah, it's all good.
No.
Oh, can I say something?
Yeah.
Not only have none of my rings fit anymore, and I have to go buy new shoes. My shoes don't fit either.
Mhm.
It's amazing.
Now that's a good reason to buy new shoes.
Yes.
Yes, it is. So, okay, why does that happen? Because inflammation spreads to the farthest extremities. Waste goes to the farthest extremities, hands, feet, head. And that is why you'll have people with swollen legs. It's called edema, because the body's innate intelligence pushes everything. So that's why your shoes will feel looser and different things like that. So that's very important to understand that. And as we as we segue into what we're going to talk about next. But I just want to tell you that there's a commercial on TV and it's called GOLO. Have you ever seen that commercial?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What we just did is exactly that. Only thing you were educated on it for nothing. Okay, they want hundreds or not thousands of dollars to tell you what foods to eat. This is exactly, and it says if you do this for 60 days, you never have to diet again. Why? Because once you get used to eating food, certain food, you want that food. Your body wants it. Okay. And so we guide our body to whichever direction we want, good or bad. We guide it. We choose it. Now, when we choose bad, we feel bloated. We feel our shoes don't fit, our clothes don't fit. We feel like Crystal said, foggy brain. Now, if you have certain conditions like candida or different things, this is by itself is not going to make it go away. However, it'll make you feel better. So there are some people that still need structured programs in order to get themselves healthy, that they need to, do more. But nonetheless, eating properly will make you feel better. Okay, no matter what, because it's all about food. It's all about the food. So I just want everybody to understand that. Okay. What we're going to do is I still would want everybody to stay on just these foods through the through the 1st of February is what we said. Okay. And when we go into the next grouping, we want nothing.
Sorry.
Okay. So when we go into the next grouping, and the whole idea of this is the longer you can stay on these foods, the better. So when somebody said, I think it was Tina said, I can do it longer. Yes, we all should do it as long as you want to. Okay. And the longer you do it, the better you're going to feel and the healthier you're going to stay. So our 17 days is up on the 1st. So starting the 2nd. So we're right here on the 27th, moving along with our superfoods and feeling good and eating well and not being hungry and inflammation leaving the body and the brain feeling better. And we're taking our supplements. We're doing all the right things. We're drinking our water. And that's why people are feeling good. There is no one thing by itself that makes you healthy. It's all of them. So when you eat better, you sleep better. When you sleep better, you become healthier. When you eat better, you eliminate better. When you eliminate better, you become healthier. Okay. When you exercise, to get some movement, you're getting healthier. You're going to feel better. So it's all of them come together to make a healthy body. So we want to continue on for the next 5 days after today. So we've been in this now for 12 days, eating superfoods, and just continue on. So our next phase, or what we want to do, we want to review what we're doing. And the reason we're feeling good is because, and you're not hungry, is because you are getting nutrition in your body. When we're hungry all the time, it's not hungry for food. It's hungry for nutrition. Our body craves nutrition. So when you eat a lot of pasta and stuff and you say, people say, 2 hours later, I was hungry. And we know we ate more food than we should have probably. But the problem is that food did not have enough nutrition in order to keep the engine running. So it's just like what we put in our car. If you put in good fuel in your car, it'll run. If you water it down, it's not going to run. It might run, but it'll be choppy. It'll be, not the energy that you want. But our body is really the same thing. And what we put in our body is the nutrition, the energy. So that's why we want people to stay with these foods as much as we can. All right. So whenever you're hungry, you think about what you should be thinking about. What can I eat that's the most nutritious? I was on the phone today with a gentleman, and unfortunately he's suffering from cancer, and he lives in Florida, and he's been a client of ours for a year, couple of years now. And we're battling that evil demon. But he was in the hospital for 10 days. And he said to me, he said, the food they fed me was junk. And I would just sleep all the time. And when I got home and got back to eating the way you told me to eat, all of a sudden I have energy again. So that just tells us what food will do. And unfortunately, most people, most organizations don't recognize or pay attention to what is nutritious. And unfortunately, our hospitals and our daycare centers and our schools, they won't buy into it. And most of it's because of money. They say it costs too much. But in my opinion, it costs way more being unhealthy than it would be to get the right food in people, whether it be a hospital, nursing centers or whatever, what do you call them? Yeah, so anyways, so we have to be thinking about that all the time. Okay, so what have we been eating? Go ahead, Patty. What have we been eating?
Okay, so we've been eating, well, maple syrup, of course, pure US grade AOB maple syrup. We've been using our Melise Daily antioxidants. We've been eating wild caught salmon, spinach. We've been taking our supplements. We've been eating onions and shallots, and kale, and yogurt, and using the Melise Heart Healthy, grass-fed butter or ghee, broccoli, mushrooms, sprouts, avocados. Who made the avocado pudding? Yay! They're doing the essential greens, eating kiwi, the fermented cabbage, the sauerkraut, and the kimchi, bone broth, berries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, the Melise Radiance, grass-fed beef, bison, or wild game, doing the Melise instant meals, cooking with coconut oil. We've been eating organic pastured eggs, and using our Pure Invention water infusion drops for the past, like John said, 12 days. I'm not bored with it at all. Thoroughly enjoying it.
The one thing that I will tell, for me, I don't know if anybody else, but sometimes I open my refrigerator and I go, oh, I haven't eaten that in the last few days. I've kind of, I've been so busy eating other things. And when I first started this, I thought, man, that's not much food. But I find that when I'm eating it, I'm like, wow, I haven't had kale in the last couple of days, or I need to get some broccoli again. And it kind of gets away from me. So there's more food than I realized, but it's just a matter of saying that's what I'm going to eat. I don't know about anybody else, but that's the way I felt.
Yeah, I'm going to the grocery store more often.
Yes, and getting smaller amounts of things.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and what are we going to continue to eat? Primarily, we need to continue eating the same things. The bulk of this should be what we stay with. Now, if February 2nd comes along and you push everything out of the way, or you use it up and you don't replenish, you will not be eating it because something else will come into line, okay? Something else will be in the refrigerator, in the freezer, whatever, and you'll be eating less nutritious food. But obviously, there are other foods that you can eat. But ideally, what we should be thinking is 80-20, or at worst case scenario, 75-25. 75 to 80% of what we eat all the time should be on this list. 75 to 80% should be on this list. The other 20 to 25% will be on what we call the abundance foods. All right. But I can't stress enough to say, keep getting these foods, keep putting these foods in your body, and you will stave off disease after disease after disease. And people say, I just had bad luck and, just in my family, it's hereditary. I'm sorry, it is not. And I know sometimes people frown at me and or worse, or give me that Patty's arthritic finger sometimes, I know, but it's true. We don't have to be sick if we know how to take care of ourselves. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm just looking at a comment. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, so as I said, we want to continue in as many meals, 80%, okay? They're most suited to supporting optimal health and well-being. So here's what we're going to add starting February 2nd, all right? These are the foods that we call the abundance foods. And you're going to notice that there's still some foods that are not on the list that people have been used to eating. Why? Because those are the foods that aren't healthy. So what we're going to add is raw nuts and seeds. Now again, raw. Almonds, walnuts, cashews, pine nuts, but they need to be raw. Don't buy them in the can already salted and all this stuff. They've lost their nutrition. But raw nuts and seeds.
Other vegetables. So it's wide open now. Any vegetable that you want. Still stay away from corn because it's not a vegetable, but you can go back to your peppers and your squashes and tomatoes. Okay, all those. Just incorporate all those back into your diet, but keeping the spinach and broccoli and kale at the top of the list.
And that's the most important part. Make sure when you do the salads that it's not all cucumbers and tomatoes and different things like that, and peppers and stuff. They're good, but most nutrition is the vegetables. So you still want to have the broccoli and you still want to have the spinach and make it like an 80-20 or 75-25 range. Organic poultry. Okay, many people said fish, or chicken. Why can't I have chicken? Well, chicken is not bad, but it doesn't have the nutrition that the meats we've been eating. And what we want to educate people on and get them is, I personally could eat chicken every single day. I could, all right? It's easy. There's as many things that goes with it. Just, to me, chicken was my go-to. If you could, your body would change by what you ate, I would probably have feathers, okay? That's just the way I was. So I had to get away from the chicken. And the first few days, I will tell you, I kind of missed chicken. I missed having some chicken. But now I'm not thinking about it. That's just me personally. How about you?
Yeah, I'm not really thinking about it. I know my husband asked me, I don't know, a week or so ago, we're gonna have chicken again? It's soon.
Okay.
Other fruits. So you can add in your apples and your grapes, oranges,
Watermelon's fabulous.
pineapple. Okay, so your fruits are back.
But keep in mind, 80-20, 75-25, when you mix up fruit, okay?
Make sure you keep those berries and kiwis on top of the list.
And
John?
yes,
Can we have cantaloupe?
yes,
Yes.
Okay,
okay, 80-20,
okay.
unsweetened nut milk, okay? Unsweetened nut milk is very good. Now, when we say unsweetened, most of them have a line on top, and sometimes we say, don't buy anything which says unsweetened or this or that. But for nut milk, it's unsweetened. It's got normally a red, pinkish label on the top that says unsweetened. Almond milk, oat milk, what's some of the others? Coconut milk.
Coconut milk.
Okay, those you can have, but again, in moderation. Don't get into that's all you're doing. Next.
Okay, next we have full fat cream cheese. So you can go back to your cream cheese and
So
celery, yeah, that was, I was trying to think celery, yeah, cream cheese and celery. Salad dressings, John mentioned salads a minute ago. We'll be able to start making some salad dressings again. So you guys spoke too soon, but we'll get to that.
Okay, wild caught, cold water seafood. Now, wild caught, you always want to eat seafood that's wild caught. You do not want to eat anything farm raised. And that is very important to put in your memory bank, okay? Wild caught. Why cold water? Well, the reason for cold water, the farther out the fish are caught, is the safer it is, safer for chemicals. As they get closer to shore, there is more things like mercury and different things that's in the water that the fish absorb into their body. Just like humans, if we eat bad food, we absorb it into our body. Same thing with animals, okay? So you want is keep in mind wild. That's the first thing you want to remember. But cold water, if they talk about North Atlantic, that's really good because that is cold water.
Okay, so salad dressings that I spoke about a minute ago. So you can go back to olive oil, avocado oil, grapeseed oil. So you can cook with these. You can put them on your cold veggies as a salad. You can mix them with seasonings and make a salad dressing. All right, we have a great salad dressing recipe. It's olive oil, lemon juice, maple syrup, and poppy seeds. Really, really good. I'll share that with everybody when I send out the recording tomorrow. And I'm sure we have others that if you're looking to get back to salads, good way to make your own salad dressings.
And there are other things you can do. I know I've told a lot of people a way to put things on salad is if you go into your produce departments in most of your grocery stores, they have
Fresh
salsa, and it comes in a plastic container, and it's in the produce in the cooler. And what I go to Big Y, and the one I like is
La Mexicana.
La Mexicana. Thank you, La Mexicana. And I take and I mix it with hummus. And I just read the ingredients of the hummus, and I just mix them together and put them on my salad. So you have actually more vegetables, and you have chickpeas along with it. So there's other ways of getting those salad dressings that are almost all fat and sugar and garbage. We can become unhealthy eating salads if we put the wrong salad dressings on them, believe it or not, because those salad dressings, I used to be a Thousand Island guy. And I've told this story before, when I would buy the container, it would say 16 servings. Well, for my salads, it was more like 5, okay? Because I always drowned my salad in salad dressing, thinking I was being healthy eating salads. And that is a fallacy that people have. So you want to be careful on this, really careful on the salad dressing, but there are some other ways to do it. Like Patty said, we have recipes, and we will always be willing to share with you things that we have. Oh, my favorite. Cottage cheese. It would take an army to get me to eat cottage cheese. That's just one thing I will not eat. I always said yogurt was another, but I'm eating yogurt. But I know I will not eat cottage cheese. But full fat, if you're into cottage cheese, full fat cottage cheese, just like the full fat cream cheese, do not get the low fat. There was somebody on Anna. I took a picture of my shopping cart. And she called me out on it because I grabbed a yogurt, and I don't know, I was looking at them, and I grabbed the one that was low fat, and lo and behold, she said, oh, she told Patty actually,
Yes.
and Patty told me, said, you got low fat in your cart. And I was like, no, I didn't. And I had to go home and look, and I went, oh, so I admitted it, I grabbed the wrong one. I gave it to my sister, and she loved it, but so and she thought I was really nice buying her yogurt, so we're all set. Okay, but cottage cheese is fine if you like that kind of thing.
Goat cheese, right? There's another one. So I don't think they make goat cheese in a light or fat-free, but goat cheese, little logs, just it's all natural. It's a soft cheese and it digests well, just like the cream cheese and the cottage cheese.
And goat cheese, the human body digests. Goat milk and goat cheese. And wild game birds or anything wild is okay, okay? Wild game birds, any of that stuff that's wild is good to eat. And that is on the list of the abundance foods.
Okay.
So that's the abundance, okay? Now, what don't you see on there? Anybody want to shout out what you're not seeing?
No wheat.
That's right.
Amen. No wheat, okay?
Starch at all.
Okay, so you get rid of the grains because here's the thing. What we have to understand is our body cannot, well, two things here actually. Number one, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to lose belly fat, you don't want to be into the breads and the grains, okay? Number two, there is so many issues with gut health, and it's caused from the grains, because grain is not the same grain that your parents and grandparents ate, all right? We have to be cognizant of the changes and everything that's happened to it. So that is not on the abundance list. I will tell you, and I would love to hear feedback, how many of you are craving bread right now that have been staying on this program? I, for one, am not at all. I can pass it. The same as with the sweets. I went to a UMass game the other night, and people around me were eating different things, sweets. Normally, I would just kind of look away and walk away to get away from it. Yeah, I didn't even think about it. It did not bother me, did not do anything other than, just to go about my business. I didn't crave it at all. So anybody want to input? Anybody out there craving breads at this time?
Yeah.
Nobody?
Yeah, it has to be it should say 5%.
Okay. Let me just see.
It's right in the front of it, it should say 5%.
Okay. Potatoes, somebody just said potatoes. Potatoes is a high carb, but we're going to get into that in just a second. You can classify potatoes as one of the other vegetables. However, if you're going to eat potatoes, you're much, much better off eating sweet potatoes or yams than you are white potatoes. Anything that's white does not have the nutrition that other things have. So potatoes, when you eat potatoes, you will be more hungry sooner because of the high carb level. All right. Anybody else want to say something about breads or those kind of things?
Right, yeah, you don't want to.
Okay. And we're on hold here just for a second. My co-pilot walked away. Let's see if I can do this.
Well, I know they have it at Stop and Shop and maybe even Big Y.
Okay. So when we talk about other veggies, okay, what you want to do is, and some of you have this because when you're in your programs, it's in your packet. But as you look at your vegetables, the lower the carb percentage, the better. So obviously the 3% carbs when it comes to vegetables is the best way to eat. So if you look at that list, asparagus, bean sprouts, and that was one of the things we talked, broccoli is on there, cabbage, cauliflower, celery, Swiss chard, cucumbers, endive, lettuce, mushrooms, mustard plant, the mustard plant, radishes, sauerkraut that we've been eating, spinach, tomatoes, fresh tomato juice, and watercress. Those are your 3% carbs. And if you look at the other side, your 20% carbs are the potatoes, and 25% carbs are yams and sweet potatoes. Now, earlier I mentioned if you eat potatoes, you're better off eating yams and sweet potatoes than white potatoes. It's true because there is more nutrition in them, but there is a little bit more carb level. All right. When for a lot of years, I was a chicken and potato person. Huh?
Triscuits?
Well, back in the day it was Triscuits, yeah. Okay, so you really want to stay away from the higher carbs, especially if you're trying to lose weight, you want your body to change shape, that type of thing. Stay with the 3 and the 6% as much as you can. And once in a while as a treat, if you want something, go to the other levels. But hopefully you'll take a note of what is the good vegetables, which we call the other veggies, adding on to your superfoods. And when you do have other things, try to stay there. Okay. Somebody asked if we can have vinegar. Yeah, moderation. Vinegar is okay. Apple cider vinegar is much better than regular vinegar, but vinegar is all right.
Getting back to the potatoes John was just talking about, I don't know if Liz is still on, but Liz mentioned to me last week about, I think it's a Japanese sweet potato. It's purple.
Yeah, Japanese.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us about it.
Sweet potato called Yue. I've seen it at Whole Foods. I have yet to find it in other grocery stores though. But it's purple on the outside, kind of yellow on the inside. And it cooks extremely fast. Well, to me, it cooks extremely fast. I baked a whole bunch of them. And this was before we went on to the 17 foods. I just did olive oil, a little bit of salt. And by the time I cut it open, I did not want to put anything on it, no butter or anything. It was extremely delicious, very filling. It's full of vitamin E. And it is just enough to where if you have a little bit of a sweet tooth craving, just a little bit, really, really help you out.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Liz.
And what's it called again, Liz?
Yue, I'm not sure how it's spelled. I want to say Y-U-E.
All right, we can look that up and get if anybody wants the information. Thank you. Okay. Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Lose my job. All right.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about the other fruits. These are the fruits, again, you want to stay with the low carb percentage. And you'll see that your lowest carbs are cantaloupe. I think Maureen asked about cantaloupe.
So cantaloupe, yeah.
Cantaloupe is excellent. Rhubarb, strawberries. Now, no strawberry rhubarb pie before anybody throws that out, okay? And watermelon. Watermelon is very, very good simply because it's a lot of water and there's a lot of nutrition in it. Okay, so that's, but again, you'll notice your 20% carbs are bananas, which everybody has. They can have bananas now. Everybody wants bananas. They're easy to eat. They're, clean, etc. But bananas, figs, and prunes are high carb. All right. And which can produce too much sugar, creates insulin stuff. So you really want to look at your 3 and your 6% carbs when you're eating, with the exception of your blueberries. Blueberries, I'm not going to discourage anybody because of the high nutrition that are in blueberries. So blackberries is a lower carb. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're choosing whatever that you want to eat.
And I don't see dates on the list, but I'd say dates is in the 20%.
Dates is actually 25%.
Oh,
Actually, yes.
is it? Okay. I'll have to add that. All right, so let's look at the chat for a sec. No.
Somebody just asked about peanut butter. I don't recommend peanut butter. If you're gonna want a butter, you want almond butter, something like that, because peanuts carry mold. And the thing is that you don't want to be constantly putting mold. I mean, I love peanut butter. Once I start eating peanut butter, I'm just going to eat it. But you don't. And again, for those of you who don't know, peanuts and pistachios, when they start to mature, the shells actually open and they draw moisture, and that creates a mold. So when they're harvested, a lot of times when people have candida issues, they'll start craving peanut butter. And the mindset is, well, I'm not eating sweets. Well, mold feeds it just as much as sweets does. So just keep that in mind. So basically what you want to do is you want to eat the foods, and when you're hungry, you want to eat till you're satisfied. You don't want to eat because it's time to eat. And I think some of you have realized that sometimes you're just not hungry eating the nutritious foods. And if you're not hungry, you don't need to eat because you're getting the nutrition. We're not worried about calories. So everything we put in our body, we want it to support our health and well-being, okay? And it has to be the foundation to your diet, okay? The healthy foods are the foundation. The other things are just kind of like treats or specials here and there. But if you start eating a little bit of a lot of things that's not on these lists, ultimately you're going to start sliding backwards. And that's the problem with people that are trying to stay healthy or stay not to gain weight or not to regain weight they might have lost. Because we kind of in our mind, we start doing things and it's very similar to somebody who drank too much or smoked and stuff like that, and they quit and they start doing a little bit of it. All of a sudden they find themselves just going back down that road to poor health. And the thing I want to stress to everybody is make sure you keep it in your mind. What am I eating? What am I putting my body in? Why is my body feeling the way it's feeling? Whether it's over hungry all the time, craving, or wanting something else. All right. So let's really, really try to stay with the superfoods, 80, 20, 75, 25 in that range. And then for those of you who are around, schedule your Zyto after this is done. See what your body's doing, see the changes, and then what parts of the body you want to target. We can kind of take a look and see where you're at. I always recommend people do the Zyto monthly, ideally, so you know what nutrients you need, what parts of your body might be struggling a little bit, etc. But the healthier we eat, the better the scans are going to be. Your body will tell us. Your body always tells you what's going on. Janice talked about, less inflammation. If that's less inflammation, her body's telling her that, hey, I like this. This is helping. And if we ignore it, we're going to go back to our old ways. If we listen and we revel in the idea that I feel better and remember how good you feel and vow not to go back the other way, we'll stay healthy.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say that you have to remember how you feel right now, that you're eliminating better, that you have to buy smaller shoes, your fingers aren't hurting, everything that's going on physically and mentally, clarity of your brain better. When you start incorporating these other foods, just keep that in mind. If all of a sudden, you're not eliminating as well, or your fingers are starting to puff up again, something's not right. Your body doesn't want it. You just get back to 100% on the superfoods.
One thing I'm going to mention, somebody put a message out a little bit and said that they were craving and that they've been hungry. And then they followed that up with another message saying that they're not eating any of the fermented foods. And fermented foods actually is a healing of the gut. Okay. So I would encourage you to regularly get some of the sauerkrauts and the different things in your body, because that can make a difference in the way our intestinal tract and everything working. Because remember, as I've told you all before, everything is connected. There is absolutely, your brain is connected to your elimination, okay? To the way everything's processed in your body. So work your body and get the nutrition that it needs, okay? And if you don't like it, try to find something to take its place, something that's fermented. But the other thing is, and somebody just said this stuff is gross. I think yogurt is gross, but you know what? I've been eating it, I'm enjoying it. But once you change your mindset and you feel better, your brain then says, this is good, this is okay, I can do it. And you will start doing it. I had sauerkraut for breakfast this morning. Okay. Last night when I got home, I really wasn't hungry, but I thought I need to eat something. So I put a little bit of sauerkraut on a plate, and that's what I ate. That was my dinner. And I was full. And, but before I wouldn't have done this stuff, but now I'm enjoying it.
Remember, it takes 10 to 20 experiences
Yep.
for your body to say, for your brain to tell your taste buds, yeah, this is good, eat it. It's good for you. I was almost afraid to eat the sauerkraut. I bought a package and it sat in the refrigerator for 3-4 days. My husband said, "Are we going to eat that?" I'm like, "I'm working up to it." And it was like, I had to prepare myself. Now I love it. I had it last night, and before I had like 3 big helpings on my plate. I had some, I'm like, "Oh, this is good. I'm gonna have a little more." Yeah, so your body needs that.
2 weeks ago, Anna wouldn't have eaten mushrooms. I
Yep.
guarantee you, she wouldn't have eaten mushrooms. And I could just see the look on her face when I said, "Eat mushrooms." Okay? She would have given that look like, was that the middle finger? Middle finger?
Salute.
Salute. Okay.
All right. So let's detox again. All right. So we got to keep this going. So we're going to finish out these Super 17s. We're going to start with the abundance foods, incorporating them in on February 1st. And then at the end of February, we're going to detox again. So we just have to keep it going. We always said every 3 months, but since the pandemic, we've been doing it, 60 days, 6 to 8 weeks. So we're going to do it again. We're going to do another detox with pre-cleanse starting on February 27th.
And the thing is, we just want people to be healthy. And that's the whole thing. I don't care about the weight. I want people to be healthy and feel good and have energy. And that's what all this stuff does. It just makes you feel good. And when you get on a roll, it's like butter, it's just, you're just like butter. You're just on a roll and you feel good. You'll start looking better. Everything starts to come together, and that's what life is supposed to be. Life is not supposed to be hurting and struggling and brain fog and all that. And that's not what life is about. Don't let anybody tell you that you're getting older and to expect it. Absolutely not. All right. The good Lord did not make our body to break down like that. Yes, things will slow down. Yes, there are certain things you can't do that you could do 20 years ago. Okay, I'll agree with that. But it's not supposed to hurt, and it's not supposed to be painful to live. But it will be if we don't take care of the machine. If we don't take care of the equipment, it'll be that way. So just keep that in mind. And that's why you're doing it. No matter what other people say, I constantly hear people tell me, it's just so much work. It's just, well, it's work to be sick. It's work to be in pain. I had a really happy occasion 2 days ago. I was in my office. I got a text from a guy who I've been working on for 2 years to take care of himself. And he's 10 or 12, 10, 11 years younger than I am. And we play golf, and I mean, he's miserable all the time. He can't move. He can't, all these excuses. And I kept telling him, if you do something about it, it'll change. And he texted me and said, "Next week, do you have an opening? I need a consultation. I have to do something." And I made me feel good because he finally got the message. And he would tell me, "Yeah, but you have an advantage playing because you're healthy." I said, "That's a choice." And we all have choices, one way or the other. What's that thing? Whatever you are not changing, you are choosing. Whatever you are not changing, you are choosing. So please choose to take care of yourself. And we always say, trust the process. Trust it. It will work if you trust it and do it. If you half do it, you'll get half the results. Okay? If you don't do it, you'll get no results. So people all the time, I talk to people, "Yeah, I need to put it off. I need to wait. I need to do this." And all the time they become less and less healthy. And it's sad, but people don't trust themselves. They don't think they have the strength, but we all have the strength if we want to do it.
All right, so our Facebook January challenge page is still active. It's gonna stay there. If you haven't joined it, join it and see all the superfoods recipes and all the great communication and community that we've got going on there. So you can click or scan that barcode there, QR code, sorry about that. Or let me know and I'll just email you the link. Sometimes that's easier.
Okay, so what do I have for questions? Who wants to?
Somebody messaged if they could have cooked cabbage. So yes, you can have cooked cabbage.
Don't overcook it. Just don't overcook. All right, that's the key to cooking. Don't overcook stuff like that because you lose the nutrition when you overcook. What do I have for questions? Raise your hand, jump in. Yes, Maria.
What about dried apricots that don't have the sulfides in them?
Anything that's dried is high carb, very high carb.
Okay.
Okay, so my thing to you, sometimes I know people, Muriel, I would tell you stay away from them.
Yeah, well, I kind of figured that, but I thought I'd ask anyway.
You don't ask, you never know, huh?
I really like dried apricots, but I don't eat them because they are too high in carbs. But
Yes, they're high in carbs, high in sugar, okay? So they're consider them as being processed.
I have a question.
Yes,
Since I started this program several years ago, I've lost about 65 pounds.
Okay.
And the problem with that is my skin. So I'm not there. I can't come in and get the services that you have. So what do you recommend that I do to start helping that?
okay. I wish you were here, obviously, to do some wraps and that type of thing, but you're not. So what I'm going to tell you is two things. Number one, as much exercise you can, don't overdo it, but exercise. That's first and foremost, okay? Next month, we're going to talk about some of the things that you can use on your skin that will help your skin. But also, I don't really want you to overly worry about the skin, okay? Stay healthy. Stay healthy. I've heard so many people say I lose weight and I don't like the loose skin. Well, your other option is to put the weight back on and fill the skin up. And I don't think you want that as an option, okay?
I thought maybe I could do it with muscle.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's exercise, okay?
Yeah, weights, lifting some weights.
Light weights, and you don't have to go to a gym. Get a couple gallon jugs and fill them with water. As you're sitting in a chair, just lift, do repetitions, just work on that, different angles, or get those. What I use is the stretch bands, and I stand on them. I lift with my arms and different things, different positions. Those are the best things to do to help you.
But I can't do the wrap by myself.
No, you can't really wrap yourself, okay? The only thing, have you ever gotten our Maintain?
Yes, I have maintained.
Use a little bit of Maintain after showering, but a small amount on those areas especially, okay? That will help a little bit, but it's not going to tighten it. But I don't want you to worry about the skin. You're beautiful and you've lost the weight and you're 100 times healthier than you were before. So that's the whole bottom line.
Okay.
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 Anna has her hand up.
Okay, what about if going out to eat at this point? 'Cause you can't
You go to the restaurant, you order and you tell them what you want and use a knife and fork and have a good time.
But you can't get grass fed, you can't, you don't know what they cook in.
Okay, but remember what I said. What's the percentage? 80-20, okay? 75-25. So if you're going out to eating out more than say 25% of your meals, you got a problem anyway. Okay, to be real honest with you, okay? So if you're going to go out to eat, Just know when you come home, your next meals, or the next day, you're gonna eat superfoods. All right? And before you go out, you eat, don't go there starving hungry, number one. And also order the best things you can find on the menu that is the healthiest you can find. That is the way that we live our life. You can't say 100% superfoods for the rest of my life. That's not going to work. Okay? We have to understand that. So what we don't want though is to go reverse to 50-50 or less, whatever. You want most of your good stuff all the time. But yes, we're going to go out, we're going to do things, and that's okay. Just don't stress over it. That's the main thing.
One thing that I found at the Mexican restaurant, they have what's called Mexican guacamole.
Mm-hmm.
And it's perfect. It's the avocado and they had onions in it. And I mean, like a fourth of a tea. I mean, it was huge. The serving was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't eat all of it. I take half of it home. It
Well,
just
you know-
had a few jalapenos
Uh-huh.
and it was perfect.
Okay. My problem with Mexican restaurants is those darn chips. Once they land on my table, it's over. It's over, okay? So I'm just doing, please don't bring those because I start eating those and it's terrible. So yes, but that's some of the things you want to do. You want the best choices you can get when you do go out. Who else has some? Anne Marie.
About the nuts, what kind of nuts can we have?
Almonds, walnuts, cashews, pine nuts, really anything except peanuts. I would say we're peanuts and pistachios.
Okay.
Hazelnuts and Brazil nuts.
And you
and-
just get them at the Whole Foods, probably?
Yeah. Now, the other thing, sometimes people like them roasted. Get them raw, take them home, put them on a cookie sheet with a little bit of oil, your better oils, and roast them yourself. Use sea salt, salt them down, whatever. Those are fine. Okay, but you're doing it yourself, and it's so much healthier than the salt that they use, which creates the high blood pressure and et cetera, et cetera. Okay,
Thank
who
you.
else?
Judy.
Judy.
Yes, John, are any of the nuts lower carbs that would be better, like are cashews higher in carbs than almonds? As far as that goes, or no? Okay.
No, they're fine. The thing with nuts is it's like avocados. They are higher in fat, okay? If you have a colon problem, if somebody has ulcerative colitis or Crohn's or is subject to anything like that, you gotta be very careful with nuts because of the colon. But I'm a firm believer that if we eat right and keep eating right, we're not gonna have those kind of problems. And if you do have them, they will heal. But those are the only people that should be cautious of eating nuts. And even those people, if they chew extra and get them broke down well enough, a lot of times they're okay. But that would be the only situation where I discourage eating nuts.
And also, it's probably better just to have a handful as opposed to a cup of nuts, the quantity
Well,
of the nuts.
quantity
Is
is
that true?
always in virtually any food is what you want to be cognizant of. If you're trying to lose weight, if it was for me, yes, I need less is better. You take Liz, for example, she probably wouldn't have to worry. Of course, as tiny as she is, she probably couldn't eat that many anyway. So that's why she is that tiny. But yeah, you just think about what am I doing? If I don't want to gain, then I'm going to cut my portion down.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm. Anybody else? Nobody?
Clayton, are you still there? I have him
Did he leave?
told me how he made his waffle.
Oh yeah, he made a waffle he put on with fruit on it and everything.
Every once in a while it's a babe. I said.
Clayton, are you there?
Right, but he dozed off.
Okay.
All right, Clayton.
All right. If we have no other questions, I encourage people to still do the thing on Facebook, share recipes, even with the, once we get into these other foods, share your recipes. And then you will, I love seeing them, and I think other people do too. Everything looks good, I'm telling you. I know Anne Marie always says it looks delicious, and I just ditto that, okay? This all looks delicious. Okay, if there's no other questions,